Okay. We might be live. Let's find out.
It says live, 13 seconds live at top.
Does it?
It says it at the top.
Well, it's live here, but is it live on Twitter? Oh, looks like we are live. All right, there we go. All right, how you guys doing?
Good. What a day.
Chilling. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What a
Tricky.
Tricky's video. There he is.
From DeFi Space Donkeys.
You're on the road, huh? Where are you going? Do we just lose Tricky, or do you lose everybody? Tricky.
No, I think it was just Tricky.
Where are you at, bud? Where are you on the road to?
Hey, I'm in the car around Disney Springs right now.
Well, signal's a little rough.
Yeah, I can't really hear you.
Mr. Carter from
All right, you guys are just going to be watching me eat popcorn all day, by the way. Anyways, all right, welcome everybody. We are live. We are live on Twitter. Retweet the room, tag your friends.
Let me retweet as well.
All that fun stuff. Are you guys streaming this on your channels as well? So,
yeah.
Are you able to stream to Twitter as well, or are you streaming to like Twitch and YouTube and whatever? Like, how does that work?
No, I have it linked to my X.
You do have it linked to your X?
Yeah, but my Twitch, the name's not. They're giving me a pain about changing my name, so I haven't been able to change that. And I don't want to stream to something that's different than Crypto Stoner.
Yeah, no, I get that.
But I also don't want to lose those like 5K, 10K followers that are still on that account, just because it would ping everyone I'm live.
Got it. So it's streaming live to my Twitter account and your Twitter account. And what about you, Rick? Is it streaming to you?
Of course, and YouTube, bro.
And YouTube. Wow, we are getting fancy.
I could put Twitch as well. Like I have been putting Twitch, but this week I didn't.
Yeah, we definitely can do Twitch next week for sure. So I got the updated graphic. I want to show you guys. Let me find it. Courtesy of Macbeth. Do we have the chat on? Hold on. Who do we have up here? Weed TH is in the chat. All right, let me find the graphic. I'm gonna show this to you guys. And let me share my screen. Here we go. All right. Ready? Here we go. Boom.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, man.
Very nice.
Beth, courtesy.
Hell yeah. Thank you, Macbeth.
Yeah.
Absolute legend, bro.
Let's go, Mac.
I'm going to do it one more time because I think it's pretty cool.
It's so smooth. I like the graphic on the phone.
Yeah, it looks like the Star Wars kind of thing coming in. It's kind of cool.
That's about it. Yo, Envision, what up? See you in the chat. Much love, homie.
There you go. What's up? Glitch? What's up, Glitch? Let's fucking grow. All right. Kind of a weird fucking crazy week, huh?
We got a lot to unpack this week.
Yeah, man. Like, there's so much to unpack. I don't even know where to start. Obviously, tariffs. I mean, tariffs are probably a good starting point. Should we start there and just kind of, and then roll into the stock markets and the crypto markets? Because I got fucking hammered in the stock market. I know everybody did, but holy shit. The last 2-3 days have been a bloodbath. But yeah, so where do you want to start? You guys want to do a little stock market recap there, Crypto Stoner?
Yeah, let's do it. So stock wise, I've been cash in hand as soon as I heard Warren Buffett say that, or saw that they went cash in hand. So I cashed out when Warren Buffett did.
Which was how long ago?
On my, I want to say about 5. No, I want to say it was about 4 months ago. It was like right at the end of the year, leading into January, right when Nvidia was breaking its all-time high. Pretty much, I heard rumors that there was a lot of big money moving into cash only, so on the stock market especially. So I took a lot of that out, and then I've been using half of that to dollar cost average into crypto. The other half will go back into the stock market when I feel like we're near bottoms. But when on that note, here, I'll pull up your favorite chart of the week. I know you wait for this on Fridays so you can see some bubbles.
Yes, sir.
We're looking green today.
Yeah. Hold on, let me make your screen bigger here. There we go.
So I'm gonna flip back and forth. Here, let me shrink
Let
this
me
down a little
do this. Does that work? There we go.
Crypto bubbles. There we go.
Big man, what's up, man? AJ
What up,
in the
big
house
man?
as well.
Big man.
We got some of the Green Pill Collective fam jumping.
AJ, Glitch,
Hey, y'all.
Vision, damn, bro.
All right. Can you make that bigger, or do I need to make it bigger on my end?
Let me see, because I haven't used this. I thought it was just gonna show me charts, but it's not.
But everything's red. I can. Oh, smokes.
So that's the stock market.
Damn.
And I gotta double check. Let me check X real quick. But the last time I had seen, I think it was 2.5 trillion that's been wiped out in the last 2 days.
I saw a number like that too. Yeah.
Somewhere in
trillion.
there. It's a little over 2 trillion. Here's the fun part. Crypto has only gone up since this crash on the stock market happened, because it was
Really?
pushing around 80K. We were about to look like we were going to test the 70s range the other day. As of this time on this, we're about 2,000 points down, which is about 5% on the Dow. And the S&P is similar, somewhere in there. So they're down quite a bit. That's a huge drop on the stock market, for the U.S. stock market. That's a huge, huge drop. This is like
Biggest
recession
one-day
fear
drop ever,
drops.
right?
Yes, since COVID, so 2020.
Yep.
Now, the thing that's crazy about this is, usually we see crypto follow, right? So if we have like a black swan event, which is the tariffs right now causing massive scare of recession and inflation fears, we see this massive sell-off in the stock market. But like I said before, as the stock market ages and crypto, or Bitcoin especially, aged, I have always said I feel like it would stray away from the stock market and start to gain power over the market, over the stock market. And here, why does this look so weird for years?
Yeah, there's some weird space on the blank
here,
space on the right.
Yeah. Well, if I minimize, see, because it's normal on my screen right here, but I don't know why it's cutting off in the capture there. It's very strange. There we go. All right. So on this, this is on the day. This is where we were. So the stock market on this chart right here, if you look, well, that's on Jupiter. It doesn't really matter. Let's do Bitcoin though, just because. So, we were at 84. We saw this drop down to 81. And since then, this is over the last 24 hours. And the stock market kept going down beyond where Bitcoin was at 81. Now the stock market opened up and just tanked. And we've actually seen a lot of volatility today. But overall on the day, we're actually up. And the stock market is just absolutely, you guys saw it. It's just getting hammered. Like if I go to the S&P right here.
Yeah, what is it down on the day? 5.6%. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so for those of you that don't know stock market much, because I know we have a lot of crypto fam, on the S&P 500 and the Dow, seeing a 5%, 6% drop is not typical. That is a very big swing. That's like seeing a 40% correction on Bitcoin type swing
in one day. In one
day. Yeah. So for the people that don't follow stocks, this is absolutely just bearish tanking right now. But the crazy thing, like I'm saying, is Bitcoin's fighting back and being resilient during this crash of the stock market, which is showing that, in my opinion, like we've always said, the greatest transfer of wealth in history is setting up and it's happening. And I think that's what we're seeing today is that resilience in the crypto market. It's not selling off as heavy as the stock market. Shows the weakness of the dollar and the want for Bitcoin, like the understanding now people are starting to see like, damn, my dollar has no buying power and the stock market's US dollar based. So it's like showing that it's just weak right now. Yep. And then Bitcoin's just sitting here holding in the 80s. And I don't think the powers that be, the money movers, manipulators of the market, were thinking that Bitcoin would be sitting here in the green when the stock market's having one of the worst drops it's had in decades, minus the 2021. But you know, we're in a really interesting time. This is different than any other cycle in the sense of Bitcoin's just completely breaking away. And to me, this is just that mass adoption like we are seeing that we're in the right place. In my opinion, the people that have been stacking Bitcoin, those of you that have been holding and accumulating it, this is proving right here, the resilience against this drop, that we're in the right future investment currently.
So let me jump in here, because you often hear of Bitcoin and crypto as risk on assets, as risk assets, right? Do you think there's a flight to Bitcoin specifically now because it's a safe haven to protect against the deterioration of the dollar? Or why do you think that crypto or Bitcoin specifically is holding up or even increasing while the rest of the economy is just going up in flames?
Well, we're seeing that so a lot of retail investors still don't believe it. They don't believe that crypto is going to fix stuff. But for the people the economists, the investors, the whales, the elites, they understand that this is the only hedge against inflation. In the economic world we currently live in, there's only one thing outpacing the rate of inflation of the US dollar, and it's Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. So I think what we're seeing is just the money that B doesn't want to make the mark. They don't want to send this to $1 million of Bitcoin right away. Right. I know, they don't, because that doesn't do anything for them long-term massive gain. If they push the price up when they bought it, then they're just buying their own way up. And so they're trying to liquidate, take people out as we go. But yeah, that's why we're not seeing those sell-offs, because the adoption's changing. That adoption, the big money is starting to see that their escape from the monetary system we live in now is Bitcoin or gold. Gold just hit an all-time high. So we also can't push gold off to the side as investments, because they're putting a lot of money in that too. I think what we're seeing is people are trying to find a new asset reserve. Some people are going back to gold because they're starting to lose faith in the fiat system. Mm-hmm. But the people that are seeking future proofing of their investments, their assets, they're looking how to do that. And people that are future growing want to see not gold, what's next. It's Bitcoin. So yeah, I think that's basically we're just in the middle of that adoption curve is actually coming in right now, more so than any cycle previous.
Yeah, gold market cap right now is 21 trillion and Bitcoin is 1.649. Yeah. So, there's still a ways to go before Bitcoin catches up to gold. Which is, in my opinion, super bullish, because that shows how much money there is out there that can actually transition into Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. And as we see that mass adoption, transfer of wealth happen, and new generations coming in, we're going to see that they're going to move into a digital safer haven than everything else that we've had in the past. I don't know if I've asked this question before, but when do you think Bitcoin surpasses the market cap of gold? Do you think that's within a 4-year cycle? Do you think that's 10 years from now? Do you think that's when the last Bitcoin is mined in I guess it would be 10 years, right? 2035? Yeah, 10 years. Yep, 2035, I think.
I think we could see it before then if we see a massive global adoption on the government side, and
Yeah.
you see all the world's governments trying to funnel into this,
Mhm.
which I have a fun theory that Big Man X actually came up with. So
All
I'll
right.
share it after about this,
Nice.
about forcing mass adoption, essentially. But I think that's just what we're seeing is that global adoption that it's the adoption rate of crypto has been faster than internet so far on a year to year, and it's starting to catch up and even go faster. So crypto is just going to continue to have an adoption rate regardless. Now, Big Man, shout out to Big Man X. He came up with this theory in a space the other day. Now he called it a tin hat theory. I'm starting to call it a half tin hat theory, but I might turn it into a quarter hat tin hat. It really just ain't seeming very tin hatty. So,
all right.
Big Man said, what if the tariffs are never going to go away?
Oh.
But we heard things like Trump and Michael Saylor, especially now yesterday, saying there's no tariffs on Bitcoin. Now, what if the Big Man said, basically, if they left tariffs intact for fiat and they started to tell everyone that crypto doesn't have tariffs, that's one of the quickest and easiest ways to force a mass quick adoption of everybody around the world because nobody wants to pay these high tariffs. And if they can all avoid it legally by using crypto and they onboard the rest of the world into crypto, there could be tariffs on fiat forever. And then they just said we had to move into crypto to get away from the tariffs.
So they would tariff anybody that pays in fiat, but if you pay in Bitcoin per se, then there would be no tariff on that payment. Is that the gist of it?
Essentially, yeah.
Interesting.
If say Trump wanted to, I love those hearts. I still am jealous. I
Yeah,
can't
I
get
know.
them.
How do we, not to derail the show, but how?
No, we got to figure it out one day. Rick knows something.
No,
I'm
bro.
teasing. I'm teasing you. Yeah. So when you see Trump saying things like we're about to see the biggest economic boom in history last week, things like this and all these things, and we see these tariffs turning into, most economists are starting to say, and technical analysis are saying this is just a tariff war. It's not even about economics at this point. We're just in an economic war.
Right.
How do you derail that war and also onboard people into something you really want? You make the thing they're using unusable or very expensive to use. And then you tell everyone there's a cheap and free way to do it. And you onboard the world into a new, system. I could see that happening. I could see them forcing tariffs to be like, yo, we're going to move everyone into crypto, but you can stay on fiat. You're just going to get absolutely hammered on your fees. So that was an interesting thought.
No, and I like it. And I think there's something there. I don't know if it's full on Bitcoin adoption or if it's people moving to CBDCs or stable coins or using like an XRP type of platform. But I think there's something there because
100%.
The tariffs just don't make sense. I don't understand. I know what a tariff is. I know what the concept is, but why? And not politically speaking, but why? What is the point of slapping tariffs on every other country in the world only for them to slap tariffs back on you? It seems like it's a net loss for everybody. Like, so I don't get it. I don't understand what the strategy is. Maybe you guys are smarter than me, so maybe you understand the strategy. But
I think it's just that the big money doesn't have to, they don't have the same bills and economic. They don't have the same concerns of having.
They don't give a shit if eggs go up to $12 a dozen or whatever it is now.
Yeah, dude, that's exactly it. Is that I believe that, and some people might look at it as a little bit conspiracy because I don't think that the government necessarily looks out for us. They look out for themselves and their wallet only. Both parties, doesn't matter which side you're on.
Agreed.
And with that comes that they are going to do whatever's best for them, and they don't want to do it. They don't want everyone else to be following that, or they don't want everyone else to earn or gain that same thing. And they can hold it longer so they can put the tariffs up. And like I said, here's the other thing too. A lot of these people are avoiding tariffs, like country-wise. So the people that are trading, a lot of people are using other assets or they are using Bitcoin. There are countries using Bitcoin to dodge tariffs currently already. So that's the other thing too, is they are already moving around this. they're just doing it quietly because if everyone else figures out that they could move all of their money because it's about to happen, they're not going to get the prices they want. They're going to start seeing all these, middle class, lower class households of finance go, oh, I can make $1 million if I do this and hold it. Okay, cool. They're not going to let everyone know that. So they've got to scare everyone out of the markets and I don't want to ramble on too much about it, but it's just manipulation at the end of the day.
For sure. Couple comments in the chat that I think are interesting that I want to touch on, but real quick in the chat, do you guys see where it says paired next to some?
Yeah, I saw that next.
What does that mean? Any idea?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. All right. We'll have to figure that one out later. But Big Man said, well, let me put Big Man's up real quick. So Big Man said, okay, long term, we are all bullish. Yes, agreed. But how do we feel about the next 6 months? Is it going to be a fire sale? I think it already has been a fire sale these last 2 days. I mean, these last 2 days have been brutal. How much? So, are you able to tell us how much we're down just this week in the stock market? Not
on the stock.
Yeah, the stock market. Was there like what does that say? 5 day?
So on the 5 day, I think we're down 5,000 points.
What's the percentage?
Well, no.
Is that the 5 day percentage?
Yeah.
No, that's just the daily at the top there. 5.9.
Yeah, I don't know why that doesn't.
It doesn't adjust.
No.
So we're probably what, 7, 8? No, we're probably 8, 9, 10% down over the last 2 days.
Yeah, about 10%. Yeah.
What is official recession territory? Is it 30%?
It's a certain number on this, to be honest with you, and I think it's 4,700 range, 4,500 on the points. So right now they're sitting at 5,075. I think it's like somewhere in the 45 to 4,700 range is recession territory from where we fell.
I'm looking.
Which I think would be about your 25 to 30% range if it was in the 4,500 points.
So right now we're down 10. Let's just say 10 roughly. Can you imagine another 20% drop in the stock market and what that's going to do to the... So how do you think that affects liquidity in crypto? Do you think liquidity in crypto just gets dried up? I mean, do you think it all goes away, or do you think there's a flock or a run to crypto for all the reasons you just discussed, as well as kind of safety, as well as preservation of your assets?
I think there's trillions sitting in cash right now around the world. And I think they're all sitting here just waiting to buy crypto. Like, I think they know that the prices I still think we're going to obviously come down a bit on Bitcoin still, in crypto in general. I still think we're going to test that 70,000 range. But I think that, a lot of the big money is just sitting there waiting. I think there's trillions of dollars. Because, I mean, you got to look at just Warren Buffett, one person.
That was,
he's got enough to swing the Bitcoin chart on his own if he went into crypto to move that by 5-10%,
Do you think he'll enter crypto? Do you think
Berkshire
will get into crypto? I know Charlie Munger wasn't a big fan, and I know Warren Buffett hasn't been a fan in the past, but do you think that they're going to come around? Well, not they. Charlie Munger's dead, but
and 100% they are. And here's what's going to happen,
right?
They have to, or they'll fall behind. But also, they're not going to do it until it's an asset reserve.
Yeah,
that's their stipulation. You'll see Warren Buffett dump his wealth into like Bitcoin as a reserve asset. If it resembles gold, I think you'll see him bite. But if they don't do an actual government reserve of Bitcoin, I don't think you'll see him dump money into it.
For as much cash as he has on hand right now, right? For as much dry powder as he has, you would think that he would see the writing on the wall with the deterioration of the dollar and the buying power of the dollar, and start to park his assets somewhere where he can make a positive return, right? Where he doesn't have to worry about inflation or the devaluing of the dollar. So he's going to be my canary in the coal mine, because if he flips, it's over, right? If he flips, then it's game on. I mean, to the fucking moon.
And And I think his catalyst is, like I said, all it's going to take is Trump to come out and say, we've signed and made a Bitcoin reserve and we're starting with X amount. And then all of a sudden, but here's the difference too. When you're buying that as like off of the stock market, or you're buying it from the government as a reserve type thing, I'm hoping that he would dump the money, or his investor or his team would drive him to buy Bitcoin. Don't buy Bitcoin from someone else. Go buy Bitcoin from Bitcoin. You know what I mean? I'm hoping he does that.
Don't buy an ETF. Buy the actual. Interesting. Yeah, I think he would, right? Because he would want to custody that. I
mean, even JP Morgan is getting into it, and now the banks don't have to. They don't have to have any prior. They don't have to have any they don't have to let anyone know that they're in crypto.
They don't have to disclose it.
And you don't think that they're just sitting there stacking the hell out of that right now? JP Morgan is loading their bags in between these drops right now.
There's a room right now, very dark room, somewhere in DC or New York, where JP Morgan and Warren Buffett and Jamie Dimon and Jamie Dimon and Warren Buffett and all those guys, Michael Saylor, are all sitting in a room and saying, all right, when do we want to get in, or where do we want to get in? Like, we've talked about this before. There is, for as much, quote unquote, good news there is in crypto, like the fear and greed was, I don't know, what was that last week? 40 something. It actually went up, which was shocking. But there's so many positive catalysts right now for crypto and Bitcoin specifically, that it's, obviously besides the macro market, but it's shocking that we're not seeing a better result out of crypto. I just got distracted by your rig there.
Well, I saw someone in the chat say, "Where's the gas?" And I was like, "Oh, you know what? I didn't do any gas today." Joe Mama said, "Where's the gas?" Also, real quick, just to touch on it, because Big Man also said, "Good question from Hoodlums." Tinfoil hat on. Why would they want everyone on a public blockchain monitoring?
Yep.
100%, dude. That's so we know that the blockchain is not, you can see everything. It's very transparent, right? You can see every transaction. Yes, that's good for them to monitor there. And then on top of that, they're also going to create CBDCs where they can monitor even closer and tighter. And same thing. So 100% part of the negative of crypto is that the government can watch you closer, because they can, if they watch your wallet, they know who you are, they can monitor you close. I think it's going to be used more in the CBDC side. I think that's where we're going to see a lot of like invasive monitoring of humans, which is just silly to me. I hope that a lot of people just don't accept that. We shouldn't accept that. Yeah, that's one thing too. Mass adoption, even if they push everyone onto the crypto blockchains or a CBDC, it's all monitored. Yeah. It is all, or it can be. They can hire teams to monitor. So another reason of why the government would want to force adoption with Big Man's theory of keeping tariffs, but telling people crypto doesn't have it, and then moving everyone into that, then they can also track people as well, or kind of monitor things more.
So along that whole monitoring line, you don't think there's monitoring now? Like, you don't think the companies that power the banks, because the banks don't process their own transactions. There's a company on the back end that does it. You don't think the government has a backdoor key and just watches all that shit? Because if you do stuff that's shady, you get flagged, right, by your bank. So there's already some form of monitoring happening. It's just now it'll be a little bit more obvious that they are monitoring, I think, right?
Yes, especially when your bank, when JP Morgan comes to you, or Bank of America comes to you and says, you can connect your Coinbase wallet or your this wallet or that wallet to your bank so that we can, and all it takes is one time for 1 second of connecting and you disconnect. They already have the wallet. Boom. So, you're right. Even if people don't follow, or even if people stay with their banks and they want to do that, they're going to have to know that I will personally, even if my bank says you can have your wallet attached to this, we'll insure it, whatever. I'm not attaching a wallet ever. Yeah. I don't want them to know shit about it. Cause yes, like you said, the banking industry, it was a way to track us. more
Right.
closely. That's why the fiat is the hardest thing to track, minus like gold, copper, silver, if you're just giving people pieces of things. But
Sure.
fiat's not easy to track, and they made it seem like it was, but it's not. The serial numbers don't mean shit. There's billions and billions and trillions of
But
these
the ones
going.
and zeros that you're for online, for e-commerce, for transferring between banks, the ones and zeros, you can track that shit now. Right?
Oh yeah, you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
track. Dude, Zelle is just as easy to track if you know what you're doing as
Yeah.
the blockchain.
Yeah.
I
mean, that's all Zelle really is just an internal blockchain between the banks.
Yep,
Right?
and they guard or they gated it, right? You had to be a part of their circle. Only the banks that are friendly with each other get to do this together. Everyone else, you got to do other things, and it's expensive.
Yeah. Zelle's interesting. Their corporate is actually here in AZ, and the concept behind it was the first kind of light bulb moment for me about blockchain. The ability for Zelle to instantly be transferred between banks or between, you sending money to another person via Zelle, because that one company handles all the back end transactions for all of those big banks, right? And now all the little banks too. It's trickled down. But that was like the light bulb moment for me, like, oh, that's how a blockchain works. Now, it's obviously not decentralized. It's very, 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 very centralized. But imagine that, but in a decentralized fashion. And I was like, oh, that's fucking cool. That's what blockchain is or could be potentially if it was decentralized. So, yeah, kind of cool. All right. So April 4th. Holy shit, we're already in April. April 4th. We are officially in Q2. The economy just imploded. Where do we go? Where will we be 90 days from now at the end of Q2 at June? I don't even know how many days are on June 30. June 30th.
90 days is interesting because I always say sell in May, go away.
Right.
May is always a bad month, not just for crypto, for stocks, for everything.
Right.
So, and then it comes what people like to call eggplant season, which is like
I've never heard that.
Yeah, bro.
Who likes to call it eggplant season?
Bro, there's people that call it that. Like there's a signal from the Daily Bone podcast calls it that. So the reason they call it that is because at that time, the most interesting news during these coming months is like the man who grows the biggest eggplant.
Yeah, and they do this. Raul Paul does it on his like trading. His like they have like a group you can like pay to see other like trades and stuff, and they do the same thing. They even have contests for it, like in their platform. Whoever gets the biggest eggplant, they win.
That is hilarious.
Yeah. And then we go into like August, September, and then I think that's when we're gonna cook. I think like Q4 is our time. I think that like this Q2 going into Q3 is going to be a bit of chop because it's summer, man. People are away from their desks. They're not trading the same way that they are right now. And it's just a shame that we ending off this like season on a bit of a low note. It would have been nice to have a bit of higher floors and try hold that throughout. Whereas we're just going to probably chop like the way we've been chopping now. Like even this pump that we're seeing right now, I'm not getting too excited off it. You know, it's Solana up 6% on the day. It looks very nice. Sure. But at the same time, like what levels are we at? We're at 121. Like, you know, this was a terrible level a couple of weeks ago. So we really need a big breakout in order to get back those levels. And I just don't see any catalyst coming unless there's some resolution with the tariffs that they come out and they announce, and then everyone goes bullish. But what I do think is an interesting thing right now is I think people are going to get bored, and the degens that are still here are going to degen. And I think that like we can look for alternate plays right now that might cook. Like NFTs, I think have a good opportunity of having a little bit of a run. Even some meme coins and some altcoins could cook over the next coming months because people are going to get bored of this chop. So they're going to look to like just diversify. Also, the fact that it's holidays, and while a lot of people are away from their desk, there are still going to be those degens that are still going to stick it out through the summer, and they will be that liquidity will be causing some sort of hype, as we've seen. It won't be a lot, but there'll be one or two bangers that come out over the summer. Maybe viral moments. That morning routine, remember the one we spoke about? That one ran. So I think it's just like looking for viral moments and trying to maybe degen a little bit on those. But I think in terms of like long-term strategy, right now is just sit on your hands. Don't sell anything. I made a stupid mistake and I stabled up, but I don't know if it's stupid yet, but I did stable up a small percentage of my portfolio this week, as I saw the movement going down, and I did catch it before it dropped to the levels stuck below, and even now I'm still good, but I am thinking like, do I really want to be like stabled right now? Because what is the point of me being stable now when long term I'm bullish? Do you know what I mean? It's not like I'm going to do anything with the money. It's not like I'm just trying to find a better entry. And if we are going to chop, I don't think I'm going to see that entry. Like, I do think there's a possibility of us going like below $100, Sol, which would be, full send. Like I think $80 to $90 for me is like, I'm going to start looking at different avenues I can get some cash just to put in, because I see like when you look down at those levels, 80, you can see a 4x from there. At 120, I don't know about a 4x because that's talking about like 500 Sol. But at like 70, I can see a 4x, 5x from there. Easy.
Because that's the all-time high, 280, right? So
exactly.
I mean, it's down what, 40? It's down 50 some odd percent from its all-time high.
Yeah. So I mean, it would almost be a 3x from here, but I would rather just wait for that little bit more of a drop off to catch a juicy 5+X, and that's where I'm looking. And if it doesn't hit, I will like obviously start DCing back in. But I'm just trying to watch these levels right now because I think that there's a lot going on in the macro, which could affect crypto in the short term. And if that does happen, I'll try capitalize off that. That will be when I go full send, because we all know that this is a long game. We are going to go back up. It's just when you're trying to, and I don't like doing it, but when you're trying to play these time the bottom and time the top,
right?
It's a psychological thing at the end of the day. It's got nothing to do with like, it's like short-term psychological warfare between like corporations and retail, like us. And we've never had this before, but I guarantee you that you ask most people that have been trading over the last few weeks, and they have felt heavy over the last few weeks, and that's what they want us to feel. They want us to feel heavy and shook up, and they are achieving it at the end of the day. So yeah, I like what you said there, big man. It's a smart move to stable a bit so you can accumulate long term. I think it could be smart moves. Yeah, I think that like DCing out is something that I haven't done, and I'm just like testing, like just to see if it works. Maybe it doesn't work. Maybe I have to take an L and buy back in, but I just want to test it because I just don't see, like I say, I see eggplant season coming, and if it is going to chop, I'll just try to find a lower level and just get in it back in at that lower level and ride it all the way up again. So yeah.
I mean, that's kind of the play. It's like a rinse, lather, repeat.
Yeah.
It's just the emotion part that's hard, especially when it's going. But like Rick, even when you aren't looking at the Fear and Greed Index yourself prior, like you have the right mindset of trading, right? Which is sell the lows, buy the highs, essentially, and that's, but you're starting to look at it through the fear and greed. And like you're saying, did you dollar, or did you?
I DCA'd out from Monday until day before yesterday.
Okay. So I did that too. But I did take it out a little bit higher. I actually went into a stable from Bitcoin at about 90. I want to say 93. I decided to call it. And so I actually took my Bitcoin profit at 93. I moved that into USDC, and I am waiting with that now because that had accumulated about 27% on my total investment. of what I had in there. So I took a 20% profit into USDC at 93. And then now I'm waiting for, like you're saying, now we're kind of looking for where's that next bottom, timing the bottom. I did try to give myself a bigger window in that 93 range because I was like, well, if it's under 90, I still had some gains, obviously, but it wasn't as much. So I was like, I risked it too. Like you said, I took that chance to be like, let me see if I can do this right. And so far I'm happy with what I did. But I do think, like we've been talking about, I think we're going to see the 70s again at some point, at least for even if it's short, I think we see that. And my plan is to take everything stable and put it back into Bitcoin. And I think, so you were talking about time stuff earlier on when things would happen, especially like June, that 90-day. I think after May, we could see Bitcoin go back into its price discovery and seeing what it wants to do. And then, like Rick said, by September, we should be in alt season, in my opinion. Like alt season should be looking like it's getting heated up around September, October. We should be thriving. Q4 should be really nice. But with the Bitcoin timing, I in all of that, I think we go sideways, kind of downtrendy. I think we're going to see that extreme fear pop back up too. And when we see extreme fear, Rick, that's when I'm going to start looking at that stable stuff that I took back, and then I want to put it in. I
think that could be. I've been trying to think what could be the catalyst for that, and I think the announcement of a recession could be a good time to buy it.
Yes,
because there will be a significant pullback. People will shit themselves. A lot of people are going to try and sell, and that's, I think, the time to buy on that announcement of a recession.
Yeah,
because that'll cause like a big boom down, and then we'll slowly recover back up. So that's if it does come. And of course, I'm not rooting for a recession here, but all signs are pointing towards that. And I'm just
they're at least going to scare everyone, right?
Yeah. So. It's playing these games. I don't think I ever have the heart to short the market, but like I wish I had this last week because it was just obvious, man.
Right.
Me too. I'm just it's a pessimistic energy in my brain, and so I can't get my mental hurdle to let me but there's so many times where I go, God, if I would have opened up a leverage short on this, I would have made so much money.
Yeah, bro. I mean, if you were calling for lowers, like low levels like this a couple of weeks ago, if you had put in a short there, even if it was like a 20x leverage short, you would have cooked over the last. I mean, that dropped down from like mid 20s to 1800 on ETH would have been a cook. Even like the SOL from 200 all the way down to 110 is a massive drop. If you have 20x leverage on that, you would have absolutely printed, even off like a couple $100. So
yeah.
But it's just like I don't think I have the heart to be like, okay, leverage shorts. Okay, I hope the market dumps,
Yeah, dude. I just
because then all my other assets get screwed. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. So, and the thing is like you can do the same thing with longs. So I do it with long. I always open longs because it's optimistic, and I'm like, I know this price going up. Now, I like you're saying though, it was so easy to call this one. We knew this drop was coming. Longs are a little bit tougher sometimes because those shorts come up quick, or like those your short traders come in and they'll sneak those long winnings out of your pocket real quick. Whereas the shorts are almost easier, but again, it's just an energy thing. I have a hard time.
I think also think about it this way: we're about to go into summer, and people will be less active on the timeline throughout the summer, and that's going to make people bearish.
Right.
If that makes sense.
May is going to be bearish.
X is dead. There's no one around on crypto X anymore, and they're going to blame the season for X being so quiet, which is going to happen, bro. I guarantee you, it happens every year. And that's when I think there's just going to be opportunities everywhere, from NFTs to meme coins to the majors. I just think we'll see some big pullbacks, and that's time to get in. I'm really looking for that absolute bearish sentiment on the timeline, and we're definitely not there yet. Like, people are still very bullish on the timeline.
Which is also cool because it's showing resilience. We are seeing less FUD these days, but we are going to see the world's over posting and everyone disappearing first before we bounce back to like Rick is saying.
I think a lot of the bigger accounts have also stopped posting as much, which has made the timeline feel different. Like, I don't know if it's just my own timeline as well, because everyone's timeline is different, you know. So, but I just feel like lately I've been seeing less of those big accounts like Shilling and like, you know, these meme coins and all of that. And it's just been more of like organic type of people talking to each other. Like it hasn't really been. I haven't seen those like posts where it's influencers trying to like extract.
Here's the CA. Here's the CA.
Yeah, stuff like that, or first 100 people to post below, you know, or post your Solana. Like none of that shit's been happening. So I don't think there's anyone trying to extract right now, which is a good thing. But I mean,
I think, well, we're seeing a lot of less things bond too. I don't know if you've had looked at all, Rick, recently.
Hardly
but like,
anything, bro.
dude, there's just not even projects up there. It's just a ghost town. I mean, there's like 100, but like we were bonding thousands of tokens a day, and now it's not even hitting 100 some days of projects.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So like, which is good because it really was eating away everyone. It was just eating away the market. Like it was eating away liquidity and it was just wiping people out. And so it was silly. I think it's great that less things are bonding because it's seeming like more real projects are coming back. And if you're building right now, which special shout out to Solana Deads, I see y'all in the chat. Solana Deads is a new project that's in the works. I'm chatting with them on the back channels. So special shout out to them. But, you know, cooking right now, building right now, they're starting something now. Mutant Shiba Club has been just cooking and pushing, and the birthday bash was phenomenal last weekend. And so seeing all of the projects that are pushing right now, y'all have heard me say it in my spaces and big man spaces, but this is the time when in the market sentiment we're in, you should be looking at the projects that are posting, that are working, that are starting now, because these are the projects that are going to thrive. And boom, as soon as all of this reverses, as soon as the hype and the crypto and the Bitcoin, everything is just coming in, the money is pouring in, everyone that's been working their asses off right now while it's slow, those are going to be the projects that just thrive as soon as we bounce.
Yeah, I agree. Rick, I was trying to pull up your screen, but it looks blurry, man. I don't know what's going on.
Why.
It's like focusing on like, it's almost like a camera focus.
Yeah.
It's weird.
That's weird.
It's like, it really likes Arbitrum.
Yeah, I know. That's right. Yeah, see that? That's the only one.
Let me see. Maybe if I can just.
Are you sharing that through?
Yeah, but it's weird that it's not. Just give me 1 second.
All right. So Fear and Greed. Last 30 days, I went to CoinGlass. CoinGlass. Last 30 days, neutral, 8 days. Fear, 21 days. Extreme fear, 1 day. So we're still not in extreme.
No, we tapped it for a second.
Despite the tariffs and all the crazy stuff that's happened these last 2 days, I'm a little surprised we're not in the extreme fear.
Well, that's what I was saying earlier too, right? Because the Dow and the S&P are just shot, but Bitcoin's up. Bitcoin is up on the day. It's crazy because I don't want to say it shouldn't happen like it's a bad thing. It's an amazing thing to see the resilience, but it does shock everyone that's been here cycle to cycle to cycle because we're like, I thought, oh, my Coinbase is going to look crazy when I open it this morning. And then I opened it and I was like, you got to be kidding me. It's holding. So yeah, it is very surprising we're not in that extreme fear, like you're saying, but man, we're seeing some resilience.
I gotta play around with CoinGlass more. I'm looking at the Bitcoin rainbow price chart indicator.
That's my favorite one.
Yeah, that's my favorite. I love that one too.
So here, this is something crazy on my screen right now. Here's the crypto market today on the 24-hour.
All right.
And then if we go back to here. Where is that one screen?
Yeah, where's the blocks?
There it is. There we go.
Yeah.
Stock market, crypto. What is it? Crypto market. There you go. Crypto market, stock market.
But bro, that's not right. I would actually be shorting crypto right now.
You think?
Oh no, 100%. I think people
Yeah,
should.
bro.
Yeah.
I just think that like it's not right, bro. Like that doesn't make sense. So I think that this is a good shorting opportunity, and not financial advice, but bro, like come on,
The
stuff.
70,000 range is coming for Bitcoin. Like it's
So
coming.
what's full send for you? Is it full send 79? Is full send
73.
73.
72 is the number I've seen thrown around a lot.
Yeah.
I like it.
72,
Okay.
73. And do we tap that and then shoot up, or do we kind of chop in that 72 to 80K range for a while?
I'd say we kiss it when there's a bad announcement, and then we start to recover slowly back up.
Yeah.
And I think our sideways trend, Rick, tell me if you agree. I think our sideways trend wouldn't be at that 72, 73, but I do think it would be like what we're seeing in the 80s right now, where it's like 83 to 87, 89, and then back down to 75. You know, we could swing around in there for a bit until we hit that later date, like Rick was saying, that looking at end of Q3, Q4. We would break that chop finally and just
let's say hypothetically Trump comes out in the next 2 weeks and goes, right, tariffs cancelled. What happens then? Is it like, do we go straight back up, or is it going to be more of the same?
No, personally, I think if because that's my catalyst for the bull run to start again. In my that's the catalyst we need, is if Trump comes out in the next 2 weeks and says tariffs over, everything's fixed, that we just boom market. That's why everything's taking off, and the stock market's crazy. And here's the only thing that we've kind of strayed from that thought today, just because we were talking about big man's theory, which was they could leave tariffs and then force crypto adoption. Yeah. But if they don't do that, and we do, that's that catalyst where if Trump comes out and says no more tariffs, we fixed it, dude, the bull run is so back on, and everyone has so much cash in hand, and the FTX repayments are coming back, y'all. So you got to remember too, that the FTX money is going to go back into the market. Holy shit. We have a lot of money coming as soon as the tariffs go away.
So Watcher Guru just posted something similar to what we were just looking at. I'm going to share my screen here. Let's do this. And then just in 3.25 trillion wiped out from the U.S. stock market today. 5.4 billion
That's wild,
added to crypto. Like, look at this. And I don't even know when was this posted. I guess it was only posted about an hour ago.
Yeah. Damn.
Everything in stock.
Oh, yo, Guru just posted as you're talking this second. It says JP Morgan now projects a U.S. recession this year.
Yeah. Shit.
But I'm commenting on it. This is to shake everyone out.
But then look at crypto.
That's still the thing to me that's just crazy, is that this is not as red.
Zero red, except for logos. I mean, geez.
Yeah, but it has to make sense though. Like, why is crypto pumping? Like,
because the institutions are stacking. Michael Saylor just bought what, 200 million more.
Yeah, but I'm saying, so why? No, but like generally, why is crypto pumping right now? Like, there isn't a reason for it. So that's
what
makes me scared.
But this is such a small number, 5.4 billion compared to 3.25 trillion. I mean, it's not like it's pumping.
So the other thing is too, I read this earlier that it was retail investors. It was, I don't know the exact number. I'm trying to find that real quick. But apparently retail investors are stacking. There's a surge right now, and that's what retail investors bought 4.7 billion in the stocks yesterday.
Most in crypto.
In stocks, and that's the most in a decade. I think we're also seeing the same thing in crypto, but we don't have the same analysts going around doing the same thing per se. But I think that we're seeing the same kind of thing. Retail investors might actually be taking these risks right now and finally listening to maybe some influencers that talk about, when to buy, when to sell. Because a lot of people are telling people to dollar cost average. So maybe we're also seeing retail become smarter in trading? What do you think, Rick?
I'm already seeing the market reacting to, not very, but like slight reaction to that news. Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see.
But I do think, like, again, I think that we have to test the 70s in Bitcoin. I for sure think that we touch the 70 range on Bitcoin. There's going to be something like JP Morgan saying that there's going to be a recession. He just said, or they just posted that online. So that's not going to hit the media until tomorrow. And so people will sell off based on that. Also, remember this, and I think Rick might agree with me on this. We see a lot of price action in crypto over the weekends, more so than we have on a Friday and a Monday lately. So like Rick is saying, these prices that are up right now, don't get yourselves caught, because I do think that Saturday, Sunday, this could be really bad for Bitcoin. We could see Bitcoin have a huge dump on Saturday
and then
Sunday.
Monday we recover again.
Yes.
It's been like this like for the last 2 months. That's why like it's getting easy to kind of predict what they do.
Yeah.
So like they leave it over the weekend and then it like pumps a little bit and then it comes down until Sunday and then Monday it's back again. And then
dude.
It's like another cycle.
Rick's right though, not financial advice, but if you guys do shorts, it might not be a bad time to be looking at like what you're going to short number to, because the weekend, if we do have a volatile weekend and it drops, it might be good shorting. I don't short myself, and it's not financial advice.
We should all just throw in a little bit of cash, like collectively here, and just short, just for giggles, and just do it on the live stream, right? And then, maybe a couple $100 each or whatever.
Yeah, let's do that next week. A trading challenge.
Yeah, I'm down.
Next week we do a
And
trading.
we'll collectively, like, I'm not a trader, but I'll you guys, we'll all decide. All right, what are we gonna do? We're gonna short whatever, or we're gonna we'll put in a couple trades, and it'll just be fun for people to follow along. And Crypto Stoner's been right a lot. Rick's been right a lot. Like getting down into the 80s, touching the 70s. So let's just have fun with it and play with it and see, and take a little tiny bit of like coffee money or going out money and just throw it out the market and just fuck around and find out.
SPX is killing it. 22% on the day, 7% on the week. It's up. It's literally pumping.
I have a little bit of SPX. I like that project.
But that one is a good one to swing trade. That one really is a good. If you go look at the swings on that, it looks like that's something we could maybe look at, like swing trading.
So go.
Sorry, Big Man. I was reading Big Man's comment, laughed out loud. He said salami price, but he always says salami for Solana, and it cracks me up. I love that he says that. But he said salami price prediction for Tuesday.
For Tuesday, that's
close. That short-term ones are harder to get to, but I'll take a whack at it, Big Man. Let's see, Tuesday. Can I give one on bad news and good news, Big Man?
Every company is turning it into MicroStrategy.
$109.65.
109?
109. Yeah. All right.
Tuesday. 5 cents.
All right, real quick. So a sailor posted this morning. Today's market reaction to tariffs is a reminder. Inflation is just the tip of the iceberg. Capital faces dilution from taxes, regulation, competition, obsolescence, and unforeseen events. Bitcoin offers resilience in a world full of hidden risks.
I told you. He keeps saying it, dude. He keeps being like, hey, if there's tariffs, you don't have to pay them if you use Bitcoin.
Yeah, he said that yesterday.
I know.
And apparently no tariffs on Pokemon cards as well. So
what?
Thank God.
Seriously?
Yep, just saying.
Oh my goodness.
So...
Did you guys hear they put a 10% tariff on some little island off of like Australia or New Zealand that has 0 inhabitants?
It's just penguins, bro.
Penguin Island or something?
It's only penguins that live on the island.
There's no humans, right? Is Pengu and Pudgy Penguins all over that or what?
There was a meme coin that they made off that, like a penguin meme coin.
Of course they did.
And it pumps a little bit. I think it pumps like 5 or 6 million. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
SEC declares fully reserved liquid dollar-backed crypto stablecoins are not securities.
Yeah.
They're saying that nothing is a security in crypto.
Yeah,
You
they've
can do
already
whatever the
said
fuck you want.
NFTs on a security, so they like that's
Yeah.
It's gonna be the wild, wild fucking west.
it
dude.
already
Like,
is,
all
bro. They
bets are
pardoned,
off.
bro. They pardoned Hawk Tour. Hawk
Like,
Tour
exactly.
pardoned, bro.
How?
What the fuck was that?
How?
Yo.
What, like,
That was like an open and shut slam dunk fucking case. Like, how?
Yeah, dude. And also, just like Rick is saying, this is literally, to me, it's just the world is a stage.
Yeah.
And them putting a tariff on an island that has penguins and no humans and no actual trade is literally them trolling the retail world while they're just like, yeah, we're gonna get that number and make that bag. That's literally all they're thinking.
We are living in a South Park episode. We are living in like the Onion right now. Did you guys see what is that? The old Luke Owens movie, Idiocracy. Did you guys ever watch that movie?
I always
I feel like we're
in
in a Idiocracy meets South Park meets the Onion. Like, when I see headlines, I'm like, all right, is that the Onion or is that real life? Like, and it's more often than not lately real life. And I'm like befuddled sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, what is going on in this world?
Big man, I didn't answer your question, so I forgot. Because you said yeah for sure, and then Rick said 109.65.
Yeah, 109.65.
So, and you said I could give one for. So I think if we see a collapse over the weekend, it's going to be a 90 something.
You think it's gonna touch 90?
Yeah, I'll say 93. If we collapse over the weekend. Now, if there is no like black swan event further over the weekend, and we keep like the trend that we have currently, I still see us exactly around Rick's sentiment. So I think we're like, he's got it written on a post-it.
There you go.
So I would have to agree, honestly, right around there, 109, 110, 109 after the weekend, even on a steady weekend here. But with bad news or more tariff scare over the weekend, which I think they're going to do, or more recession talk over the weekend. Also, jobless numbers went up, and it was above expectations by a bit, and that's bad. So bad for market. So if we have a collapse, though, I think we see Solana back around 93, and I think we see Bitcoin in the 76, 77 range, maybe lower. But yeah, if we have a bad weekend like the stock market's having for a Friday, it's not going to be pretty. But
I mean,
long term, we're bullish, right, y'all?
Yeah, I mean, long term, absolutely. I mean, 5 years from now, we're going to be looking back, and who gives a shit if Solana's at 123 or 109?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm just looking at CoinGecko right now. I'm like, all right, well, where is an entry point for like a Sui or like a chain link, Polkadot even? I mean, Polkadot.
See the market's already. I can see it already starting to creep back. What
is it?
Yeah, bro. It's starting to creep back.
Bitcoin just went back over 84.
Yeah.
And it's been having a hard time breaking 84.0. So
look, it's pulling back. It's going to pull back below 84. Watch this, bro. While we're still on the space.
All right, guys. Dude, we got what, 4 more minutes? We got a hard stop at 2:30.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I have a bowling thing to go to.
Bowling?
Yeah, it's our neighbors. They have twins, and their little ones wanted to go bowling. So I was like, nice. Crypto Stoner, I'll go bowling with y'all for your birthday. Let's go.
Let's go. All right. Well, I don't know. We're still doing cool shit over here. We're still building. Talked to Rick the other day about some stuff with weed, and we got some stuff cooking. But going back, I want to go back to the 3rd year anniversary of Mutant Sheep Club. I know we only have a few minutes here. Rick, 8 hours? Is that right? Is that
right? 8 hours, 1.6K people tuned in.
Yeah.
We gave away close to, I think, $2,000 in prizes. The floor from MSC has been on fire. We've doubled in floor price since.
Nice, man.
Bro. We must have had probably about this weekend was crazy. We had the most volume I think we've had in ages. So it's just been awesome. And I think we must just remember that last week was just a testament to what we can do as a community, not just Mutant Shiba, not just all of us together, because that's really what it was. It was just a show of our strength as the Green Pill Collective. And I think like this week going forward, I want to have the schedule for the spaces done on a Sunday, so we know like this for the week. These are all the Green Pill Collective spaces.
Yeah.
Whatever you can attend, you attend, because it's difficult for people that aren't always in the space to know when a space is happening. So if I'm thinking of doing it in a way that I send it out, and then I'm going to be able to say add it to the Google Calendar.
I was going to say, Google Calendar. Or
yeah,
Google
so
Doc
they can
or
just
something.
add it to Google Calendar, and all of the spaces will then ping them on their phone. But yeah, also just thinking of doing a group chat, not for the founders, but and it doesn't have to be on X, it can be on a Discord or something, but for the community of all the Green Pill Collective together, so they can discuss and network as well. So really just trying to create a hub for that Green Pill Collective after last week. And if anyone's got any events that they're putting on and they want the Green Pill Collective to show up, please let me know and let's try coordinate that. I would love to see the Green Pill Collective turn up at not only a Green Collective Pills space, at some other space, but in force. So 40 or 50 of us, or even 60, we all pull up to the space, and like this other person's thinking, what the hell is happening, And then one of our representatives will go up and say, we're from the Green Pill Collective. We're here to support you guys. We don't want anything. We want to see about your projects. We like what you're building. Just to outreach a little bit with the community, like a little bit of boom strength to show them what we got. But guys, thank you again. Last week was just, hey man.
The support was amazing. The support was amazing.
Insane. Consistently till the end, we had like almost 150 people the whole way through. Like that's nuts. Like it didn't. Only right near the end, obviously, people started leaving. But
I think we need to do another one of those, because I mean, just listening to a few of the projects talk, I'm like, okay, I want to connect with that person. Okay, I want to connect with that person.
Well, I've thought about it, and let's do 420.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, I would be down. So I do a lot of stuff for 420.
Oh, that's Easter. No.
But I'm down to at least be there for a bit.
Maybe not 420,
419.
maybe 419 going into 420,
Dude, honestly, that would be fun too.
Because that is a Saturday. That could be that works. So okay, I think that's a good, and then we can do a whole prize pool, like we can get sponsored prizes again. It will be mad, bro. We can get a crazy one going.
All right, let's start planning that, because that'll be fun.
It's 2 weeks time, bro, tomorrow. So let's start getting it. I'll get a whole bunch of new projects to come through as well. And let's just network and kill it, bro. I'm very hyped for that. 420, let's go.
Dude, nice. It'll be a pre-420. It'll be awesome.
All
right.
It'll be the pre-party. It'll be the pre-party.
Before party,
All right, y'all. Appreciate it. Everybody listening, appreciate you showing up and supporting us. Rick's got the hearts.
Also, D Bros' class. I see Big Man just posted real quick on the way out. Decentral Bros is doing a dev class over this weekend. Midnight is the cutoff. So make sure, if you guys want to grab a seat in that class, go over to Decentral Bros, check it out, take a seat. It's teaching you how to work on the blockchain, how to code in it, how to be a dev and a builder. Rick's going to be doing it. Big Man's going to be doing it. We got a couple other fam doing it. But
I want to do it, but I can't do 1 Eastern. Does he record those? Like, can I go back, or is it like a live thing?
Some of it's live, so but you could talk to him about it.
They should record it though. Just
it is recorded.
I think he did say that, so that'll be fun.
Talk to I'll ask him for you, and I'll let you know.
Yeah, let me know, because I'd like to do it.
Yeah, I'll let you
know. All right, y'all, I gotta go. Appreciate it. I'll see y'all next week. Have a great weekend.
Yeah,
let's go. Have a good one. Peace.
See you guys. Bye.
Deuces.